Does doing something well equate with the value of a thing? Is excellence the equivalent of being worthy? Who gets to decide what we're worth? At work, it's probably the boss. At home, parents, the spouse. We judge our own worth too. It's called self-esteem. What is worth? Does it stay the same, or is it constantly in a state of flux, shifting from positive to negative and back? This is not about the monetary value of real estate you may own or the vehicle you drive. Do popular values shift so that for some, values like truth and integrity seem old-fashioned and out of step with what's going on in the world today? A mortgage broker being interviewed recently defended subprime mortgage lending, which eventually had caused the collapse of his small mortgage lending business, as something everybody was doing. If he refused, clients would just go elsewhere. He would lose business. It's the way business was being conducted. To this man, it felt like everybody was doing it. If the competition or your peers are doing something, does that make it right? It appears a majority of people in that business were functioning with a huge shift in moral standards and with no concept of where it would end. There was a $50 trillion decline in the value of world markets in 2008, as reported in the Financial Times. And of the 19 million homes and apartments currently sitting vacant in the U.S., only about 6 million of them are for sale or for rent. Does worth depend on prevailing moral standard for that item? Is there a universal standard? Is there a place where most of us would say this is right and that was wrong? Do the same standards apply to borrowers and lenders at the international level as to a young adult seeking their first loan for a car or a home or applying for a first credit card? It appears not. But shouldn't big banks be held to the same standard that we're held to? Don't borrow beyond your means. When prevailing moral standards become flexible or even disposable, then we're all heading down a slippery slope. We allow crooks and criminals to get hold of the democratic ideal of home ownership, subprime loans. Hoover's chicken in every pot, think genetically modified foods. Ford's car in every garage. We wage war for gas. A politician's campaign to get elected and re-elected, and we won't even go there. But yes, we do have blessed lives and many things to be thankful for. Start again with imagination and go to what has happened. Where did our standards fail us? Some see us losing our moral compass in this country in the 19th century. When the prevailing moral standard shifts from the good of the majority to the good of the few, and that good is centered in their financial gain, it will probably mean our loss, and we need to pay attention. Hindsight is 20/20. Some of these people were crying out for help in their state of moral decline. An article about Wall Street traders spending $2,000 an hour to have a call girl just sit with them while they tripped on drugs to de-stress from their week of high financial dealings was repulsive. Why wasn't I angry as hell? Maybe it's just not my nature, but if not us, who will stop the madness? There are a few people who apparently did try to sound the alarm, but we weren't ready to listen, to hear the full implications of what they were saying. The emperor wasn't wearing any clothes. When I moved to Tampa 35 years ago with 4 children, our first home was in an older neighborhood. The sellers were motivated. I assumed their first, took a second, and had cash to put down. My mortgage went from $106 to the huge sum of $350 a month. But it took a year for my pay raise to come through. So within our first year, I put the house on the market and had a buyer. When their financing fell through, we celebrated. Although the Tampa housing market was overpriced, my finances were not what they were projected to be when I made the move. We tightened our belts and weathered the storm. We refinanced to a more affordable monthly payment. There was a measure of sanity in these transactions, a prevailing moral standard which suited us. Lenders actually looked at your income to debt ratio before making a loan. We stayed there for 6 years. until my 2 older children graduated from the high school that they loved. Do we settle for less than excellence? Do we let values slip away to go down without a fight? We need to take back our right to a life we can respect. We need to be the standard bearers for a return to the values that meant something to us, the values that said, this is right and that is wrong. No more easy marks. Quit facilitating someone else's get-rich scheme. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't true. Abraham says you get more leverage from vibration than from action. Use your imagination and pursue excellence. Don't force it with actions which bring you to a place you don't want to be. Pay attention to your desires. You are manifesting. Let go and let God. This doesn't mean to take the easy way out. It doesn't mean that you settle for what someone else wants to give you after they take what they want, which might be more than their fair share. Don't let others dupe you. Know what you want and be willing to take a stand for it. Then the river of your desires will be flowing, rushing toward everything that you are wanting. Just let go of the oars and go downstream. Kadosh.